welcome to the Deep Dive. We cut through the noise to get you the core insights from the shows you love. Today, we are plunging right into the very twisty finale of Wednesday Season 2, Part 2. We've just gone through a really comprehensive review and breakdown of that ending, all the shocks, the implications, so you get the key takeaways without having to wade through everything yourself. Think you've got Wednesday Season 2, Part 2 figured out. Maybe think again. Our dive into this review, it might just pull apart some of your best theories. We found some pretty game-changing stuff that could honestly leave you stunned. We're not just recapping here. We're pulling out the crucial bits, explaining that ending, looking for clues, and really digging into the overall impact. Okay, let's unpack this.
Absolutely. And what's really interesting here, and what the analysis of the review brings out, is how it shows you those layers hiding just beneath the plot. How one little event can suddenly ripple out and have these huge consequences for the whole series. So our mission for you today is to get beyond just what happened in the finale. We want you to understand why it's so important for Wednesday's journey and what it signals for the show's future. Basically, like arming you with what you need to know going into Season 3.
Okay, so before we hit those massive finale twists, let's just set the scene a little. Because the second half of the season really dialed up the tension, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Like the review points out, Wednesday's visions, they got intense. Not just quick flashes anymore. We started seeing these terrifying bits of a prophecy, something threatening, nevermore itself. You could feel the stakes just climbing.
Yeah, the review really nailed that. It highlighted how all these different threads were being woven together so carefully, each one kind of tightening the knot before that huge ending. Like that rivalry between Xavier and Tyler wasn't just, teen drama. The analysis showed how it dug up some really dark secrets, forcing Wednesday to face some pretty uncomfortable stuff about people she thought she knew.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, of course, the Hyde mystery popping back up. That alone just pushed Wednesday right to the edge, didn't it? Making her question who or what she could actually trust. It really felt like everything was just waiting to explode.
You could almost feel her paranoia building.
Mm-hmm.
And underneath all that, the review kept pointing towards this quiet but definite presence of a new villain, someone pulling strings, setting the stage perfectly for that mind-bending conclusion. All these things, as the review stressed, just created this incredibly complicated picture that the finale then had to unravel. It was quite a task.
Exactly. And it's that careful buildup that made the payoff feel so earned. Every little choice, every secret revealed, all those visions, it felt like it was all meticulously designed to lead somewhere big. You could feel that anticipation building as a viewer, couldn't you?
Oh, totally. And big doesn't even cover it.
Right.
The review really argues this finale wasn't just an ending. It was like a seismic shift for the show, packed with twists that change everything. Okay, one of the biggest shocks, and I gotta admit, I did not see this one coming, the true villain reveal. Forget Crackstone, forget Gates. It was Bianca's mother.
Right.
What did the review say was the most compelling reason for choosing her? Not just, another monster of the week type thing.
Well, what's interesting is how the review frames it. It wasn't just about the shock that was shocking. It reframes that whole power struggle within the Siren community. The review suggested it brings up these really important questions about, power, tradition, control, all within these hidden societies. Bianca's mother wasn't just being evil randomly. She orchestrated everything, the attacks, the manipulation, framing people specifically to claw back control of the Siren Society. It's painted as this desperate grab for power, rooted in legacy. It really makes you question how far someone would go to protect their bloodline,
Wow. Yeah, that makes her sound like a real master manipulator, a very calculating player. But, okay, shifting from the external threats to Wednesday's internal ones, the review really dug into her own dark choice in the finale. What exactly did she do, and how does the review say this pushes her into that kind of morally gray zone, maybe even closer to her family's darker side?
Yeah, this is a huge moment for her, and the analysis really stresses its importance. Basically, to stop the chaos and save her friends, Wednesday deliberately taps into her most dangerous psychic powers. The review is clear, it worked, but it left her really conflicted morally. It's more than just a hint. It's shown as a clear step closer to her family's more powerful, maybe more dangerous, definitely darker legacy. You see her using these methods that really blur the lines between, good and evil. It forces you to ask, what's the cost of saving the day her way? It's a critical turn, suggesting her path forward isn't going to be simple heroism. Not at all.
So many characters have their arcs turned upside down. And one that really got me, and the review focuses on this too, is Tyler. Just when you kind of thought, okay, maybe he's finding some redemption,
Yeah.
he makes this huge sacrifice for Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
But the review calls his death ambiguous. What does that ambiguity really add? Is it more than just a cliffhanger? Does it make us rethink redemption in this world?
Oh, it absolutely does. That ambiguity around Tyler is such a smart narrative tool. The review suggests it really forces you, the viewer, to question more than just whether he's physically alive or dead. It makes you question the whole idea of redemption in this setting. Is one big sacrifice enough to wash away everything he did? Does it mean he's truly gone? Or does this leave the door open for him to come back in season 3, maybe in an even more complex way? His redemption arc could continue, or maybe take an even darker twist. It keeps him super relevant, even if he's seemingly off the board, and makes you really ponder the impact of his actions.
And, okay, the ultimate moment that left everyone buzzing, that cryptic letter.
Yes.
That final scene just sends chills down your spine. Wednesday gets this note right.
Right.
Just says, the prophecy isn't over. You're the key.
Mm-hmm.
The review positions this as the central question for the next season, not just a little teaser. How does this change Wednesday's role? From detective to something more.
This is exactly where her destiny just takes over. The analysis is really clear. This isn't just your average cliffhanger. It fundamentally changes Wednesday's whole function in the story. She's not just reacting and solving mysteries anymore. Now she's positioned as the central figure in this massive unfolding prophecy. It means her journey is far from finished. In fact, she's now essential to whatever huge, probably darker plan is still out there. It frames her not just as a student, but as like the absolute linchpin in a much larger and likely much more dangerous puzzle for season 3.
Yeah, she's not just solving the puzzle anymore. She is the puzzle piece, or maybe the whole board. Okay, so beyond just the twist, this finale, as our deep dive highlights, really got into some deep themes. It wasn't just a spooky mystery. One big theme the review mentions is that classic good versus evil struggle, especially with Wednesday kind of wrestling with using darkness for good ends. Can you give us some examples from the finale where we really see her grappling with that?
Oh, definitely. The review points out how this internal fight is just core to her character arc now. Think about when she unleashes those dangerous psychic powers, those dark abilities. She doesn't do it for herself or for revenge. She does it specifically to protect her friends, to stop the bloodshed at Nevermore.
Right, the intention matters.
Exactly. That action, even though it feels morally murky, is her attempting to use darkness for what she sees as a good result. So what does this mean for you watching? These themes, they're not just window dressing, they're the absolute heart of Wednesday's journey. It's why her choices hit so hard. Her internal struggle makes you think about those gray areas in heroism. It really asks, can you truly do good using dark tools? Or will those tools eventually corrupt the goal?
That's a heavy question. It really makes you pause.
Yeah.
Another powerful theme, especially tied into Bianca's mother and the whole Siren storyline, was identity and control. It challenges ideas about autonomy versus tradition, right? Especially these hidden societies. How did the review show this playing out with Bianca's mom?
Yeah, the review links it straight back to her motives. Her actions, they're all driven by this deep need to uphold ancient Siren ways and get her family's power back, and that directly clashes with individual choices, especially Bianca's own wish for a different life. You can think about how that Siren struggle mirrors bigger conflicts you might see everywhere, where tradition often clashes with personal freedom. It makes you reflect on the kind of pressure people face to fit in, with family or society, even if it means sacrificing who they are.
Very true. And then, despite Wednesday's famous love of solitude, it's like her brand, right?
Ugh.
The finale also powerfully showed this theme of friendship versus isolation. The review really highlighted how, through everything, Wednesday kind of reluctantly learns that real strength comes from connection, from relying on others, even if she hates admitting it.
Oh, yeah?
Can you think of specific moments in the finale that show Wednesday shifting towards valuing those bonds?
Absolutely. The review notes how, even with her default setting being alone, Wednesday actively puts herself in harm's way to save her friends. You even see moments where she shows genuine worry when their lives are threatened.
Yeah, like with Enid.
Exactly. And her using that dark choice power, it wasn't just for the school abstractly, it was for the people at the school she'd actually grown to care about. This theme is so crucial for her. It shows that even someone as fiercely independent as Wednesday can find real strength, maybe even a new part of her identity, through those connections. It's a strong message, really. Suggests that even when things get incredibly dark, those bonds can be your biggest strength. It challenges her whole worldview about needing no one.
So, okay, we've unpacked all these huge twists, the deeper themes. The big question the review gets to is, Was part 2 worth the wait? And from what we gathered, the answer seems to be a pretty strong yes. It praises the darker tone, the higher stakes compared to part 1. You feel the show growing up a bit.
Definitely. The analysis gave it a solid 4 out of 5 stars, called it thrilling, gothic, and emotional, and said it perfectly sets the stage for an even bigger season 3. That balance of strong acting and twists that genuinely land, that really reinforces why we took this deep dive. Even with a few criticisms, the overall take was super positive.
Yeah, and obviously Jen Ortega and Emma Myers are fantastic, as always. The review gives them huge props. But the analysis specifically loved the twists that really caught us off guard, calling that Bianca's mom revealed genius. But it wasn't all perfect praise. The review did mention some pacing issues. Can you elaborate a bit on that? Or maybe which side plots felt a little rushed?
Sure. The review mentioned that sometimes new plot points or character shifts felt a bit compressed, like they happened too fast, which could leave you, the viewer, feeling a bit rushed through certain reveals.
Okay, I can see that.
For example, some of the smaller subplots with minor characters, while maybe interesting on their own, didn't get quite enough space to develop before the main story surged forward again. But honestly, even with those small notes, the overall feeling was overwhelmingly positive. The focus was really on the shocks, the performances, and how well it sets up the future. It's clear this finale wasn't just tying things up. It was a major turning point, pushing Wednesday and her whole world into a new, possibly much darker direction.
And what a turning point it was. So let's recap our deep dive into Wednesday Season 2, Part 2's finale. We dissected everything. The shock reveal of Bianca's mother pulling the strings. Wednesday's morally complex choice to use her darker powers. Tyler's very ambiguous fate, and that really chilling letter hinting at a prophecy where Wednesday is the key. We also explored those deeper themes, good versus evil, identity and control, and Wednesday surprisingly finding strength and friendship.
Yeah, and this finale leaves us, and you, with a really compelling question to chew on, doesn't it? If Wednesday is the key to this unfinished prophecy, and she's starting to lean into her family's darker side to achieve good, what does being a hero even mean in a world like this, where the lines between light and dark are just so incredibly blurry? And with all these new clues scattered around, what role will you, the viewer, play in trying to piece together this unfolding mystery before Season 3? It's a puzzle that definitely invites your own theories.